Alright, what's up there guys, this is Cob, and welcome to a video talking about Pristine servers. Now, there was recently a blue post posted up here by Nathira, this is the gentleman himself who first uttered the phrase, "you think you do, but you don't." Actually, scratch that. It turns out that, after just quickly looking it up, Nathira is actually a female, and she's just relaying what Mr. J. Allen Brack said. But we'll just ignore that for now. This post is by Nathira, it's a blue post, it's about legacy servers, it's in response to the whole Nostalgia's petition. Some of you guys might have read it already. But for those of you who haven't, I'm just going to have it up on screen. We're just going to go through it, give some thoughts and feelings. We're going to kind of brush over it till we get to the Pristine servers part, the Pristine Realms, as they call them. These aren't things that are guaranteed to come in the future. A Pristine Realm is something that Blizzard has been talking about, apparently behind the scenes. It might be something that they want to do. I kind of want to talk about whether I feel like that's going to be enough to satisfy the need or the desire from a lot of people, myself included, for legacy servers. Further on down, they also talk about being in touch still with the Nostalgia's team, which is interesting, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So the blue post starts out by saying, "We wanted to let you know that we've been closely following the Nostalgia's discussion, and we appreciate your constructive thoughts and suggestions. Our silence on this subject definitely does not reflect our level of engagement and passion around this topic. We hear you. Many of us across Blizzard and the WoW dev team have been passionate players ever since Classic WoW. In fact, I personally work at Blizzard because of my love for Classic WoW." Alright, we are friends with Nathira, alright? That's the point that we're trying to get across here. "We've been discussing Classic servers for years. It's a topic every BlizzCon, and especially over the past few weeks, because of obvious reasons. From an active internal team discussion to after-hours meetings with leadership, this subject has been highly debated. Some of our current thoughts include, why not just let Nostalgia's continue the way it was?" Now, I'm just going to stop there for a moment. I think that everybody is already clear. Everyone, just being reasonable about it, I think that everyone, even if you sunk 40 or 50 days playtime into Nostalgia's while it was still active, I think you even know, even as that player, if you're that guy, you still know why they shut it down, right? I mean, it's kind of obvious why they shut it down. They probably felt like it was a bit of a threat to their own game. Maybe it's just getting a little bit too big. They do have to protect their fucking creative property. No one is debating whether or not it was illegal or not to be hosting a private server like that. I don't think anybody was really shocked, like really surprised, like, whoa, they shut down a private server? And no, man, I think that we all knew that shit was coming. So, I don't know. I think that this whole paragraph can just do with being skipped. I think it's all fairly obvious. So we pick up a little bit further down on the next paragraph. "We explored options for developing classic servers, and none could be executed without great difficulty. If we could push a button and all of this would be created, we would. However, there are tremendous operational challenges to integrating classic servers, not to mention the ongoing support of multiple live versions for every aspect of WoW." So, I just wish that they'd gone into more detail on this. Why is it so hard? Like, what's so challenging about it? Because to us, to us plebs, to us players, we look at what the Nostalgia's team did, a team of volunteers who didn't earn a penny or a cent or whatever from this. They were able to get fucking 2 massive classic servers up and running on their own, and they were able to host those. Sometimes, paying for the server's upkeep out of their own pocket at times as well, also I've read. So I'd like to know what makes it so hard for Blizzard to do this. Are they trying to release classic servers in the same EXE or something? Why don't they just split the games in two? Like, when you open your Battle.net, couldn't you just have World of Warcraft Legion? And then, you know what I mean? You have like Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and then fucking the one below that could just be World of Warcraft Legacy or something like that. Couldn't you just have two completely separate games, even with separate fucking subscription charges to them? I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it. Like I say, I just wish that I'd wish they'd been a little bit more clear on what exactly these tremendous operational challenges exactly entail. If it just means hiring more game masters and stuff like that, I don't think game masters make an obscene amount of cash. Surely the profit that they'd make from these realms would far outweigh any of the upkeep costs and stuff like that. But again, I just don't know. More detail would have been bloody lovely. Okay, so a little bit further down. They go on to say, so what can we do to capture that nostalgia of when WoW first launched? Legacy servers. Over the years, we've talked about a pristine realm. In essence, that would turn off all leveling acceleration, including character transfers, heirloom gear, character boosts, recruit a friend bonuses, WoW tokens, and access to cross-realm zones, as well as group finder. We aren't sure whether this version of a clean slate is something that would appeal to the community, and it's still an open topic of discussion. Now, okay, pristine servers, we finally got there. Pristine Realms. Okay. What are Pristine Realms actually going to do? Will they improve the game to the point of view of someone who wants legacy servers? Would Pristine Realms be better than what we have right now? I'd say yes. I mean, a lot of people have been asking me about this. Do I like the idea of Pristine Realms, this, that? It's kind of hard to say, yes, I am in agreement with Pristine Realms. No, man, I'd still completely prefer legacy servers over these. I'd say that I'm about 30, maybe at a push 40% satisfied with the idea of Pristine Realms. If Pristine Realms existed, I'd play them over the regular servers. That much is for sure, but would it be enough? Would it be enough to keep me playing? Because right now I haven't fucking touched endgame in Worlds of Draenor for like 4 or 5 months now. It's insane. I haven't played Arena in like literally about 10 months. I just don't give a damn, you know? I don't give a damn. Would that really be any different just because the leveling is harder? Because let's face it, they're basically just making the leveling harder, and they're kind of reviving server communities a little bit in some ways, right? You're removing heirlooms, character boosts, recruit a friend, WoW tokens. Okay, so all of these things basically make the leveling take longer. It makes it, also removing the group finder, so they're removing looking for dungeon as well. So leveling, you can't just do looking for dungeon. You can't just press the button and enter the queue anymore. So you actually have to talk to people. You actually have to, you know, our tank le fug suffocate, you know, shadow find keep, or whatever. You actually have to talk to people and fucking use guilds for the reasons that they were supposed to be used for originally. Would that help? Would that help? The leveling being better it's a big bonus. It's a big bonus. I think that's the leveling being part of the game again is one of the best things that they could fucking do. It makes the world feel bigger. You start to meet people more because they take away cross-realm zones as well on these pristine realms. All right, there's a lot of positives to that as well because again, the leveling, you keep in touch with people. You get this sense of fucking actual community. So you finally ding level 100 or level 110 on these servers. It'll feel a lot better. It'll feel a lot better. You would have made some friends along the way. You'd probably be in a guild at that point, maybe a leveling guild, or maybe you were planning to start a guild with some people once you all ding max level. It should feel awesome again to hit max level this way. That's good. But once you get to endgame, is the game really any different? From a PvE point of view, maybe, because if they remove group finder, I'm assuming that also means looking for raid. The game will probably feel different. It'll probably feel more satisfying when you finally getting yourself into these tougher raids and all that kind of stuff. You don't have the LFR loot, so it's kind of this bigger gap. You know, you're clearing all these heroics and shit like that when you first ding. Get your starting items, get yourself ready for actual guild raids again. I think that's cool. I'm not a PvEer. I don't know if you're a PvEer. You want to share your thoughts on this down below in the comments. Fucking awesome. I'd love to hear them because that's a very alien part of the game to me. But to me, that sounds healthy for the community. And that sounds like once you finally do reach, you know, the top end raids and all that kind of stuff, it would feel a little bit cooler. You don't have to like farm attunements and stuff anymore, and you're not, you know what I'm saying? It's still not as mythic an achievement when you finally reach, you know, some fucking awesome endgame raid as it was back in like TBC or whatever, but it still sounds better to me. Again, share your thoughts if you have any kind of if you have any opposing points of view to that. But just to touch again on the whole removal of cross-realm zones, I'm very much against cross-realm zones. So I'm glad if these servers come out, that'll be a big positive in my opinion. Getting rid of cross-realm zones. They were introduced to make the world feel less empty, right? But you see some dude from another server while you're leveling, you don't group with them. Well, I mean, you could group with them, but you generally don't, because you just don't need to. Maybe that would change if we had no heirlooms and stuff. I don't think so, though. I think the leveling is still pretty easy, even without heirlooms, which again is part of the problem. Removing the heirloom gear only makes so much of a difference, but all these people from cross-home zones running around, they're stealing your loot, they're stealing this, they're fucking tagging all your quest mobs. Oh, they're not going to group with you, you know? I don't know, I think that cross-home zones suck ass. I really don't fucking like them. I like that idea of server community. I like that idea of every time you visit the auction house, there's always one, you know, egghead with all of the fucking most expensive auctions up, or he just owns the entire leather market on the auction house. He's just like a fucking leather tycoon. You know what I'm saying? You start to recognize people for the gold trade, people who just work the server restricted auction houses. You start to recognize which allies are gankers. That's another good one as well. You get ganked on a low level dude by some ally called Swaggerino Kitty XD. You note down that name, Swaggy Kitterino XD. Is that what I said? Something like that. You remember his name? It might not happen a week later, might not happen a month later, but maybe like a year later, you see that son of a bitch again out in the world, doing his professions or whatever. People don't really do professions anymore like that, but you know, that could change. You see that dude out in the world again, you camp his ass for an hour, and you make sure to teabag the shit out of him when you get that gank once you've reached endgame, you know, once it's actually a fair fight. Little things like that, man. Server community. If someone's a dick in a dungeon, they're fucking, they're bitching and whining all the time to the point where you just have to kick them from the dungeon. If you ever see them again, you'll know not to invite them to your guild. You'll know not to, you know what I mean? If you're a knob, you get treated like a knob when you got server community. And I like that as well. It makes people more, is it accountable? People can be held more accountable for their behavior. I like that shit. All in all, though, Pristine Realms, like I say, 30% satisfied maybe. If these came out, I would play them over the normal realms. But professions are still too streamlined. Will gold still just be everywhere? Will we still be sitting in garrisons and class halls all day? Sending people out on missions? PvP rating requirements are kinda coming back in Legion, kind of, but not really in the same way as they were. Like PvE attunements, there's still a lot of like really hardcore things that have just been removed from the game almost as like a design choice. That's why I'm not 100% satisfied with them. I can't be 100% satisfied with these. I'll always be wanting the legacy experience. You know, I'll always be wanting that ultra fucking hard mode, no life requirement experience over Pristine Realms. But there you go. I suppose I'm slightly behind the idea if they do come out. I would play them over the regular servers, like I said. Wraps up this blue post with saying, one other note, we've recently been in contact with some of the folks who operated Nostalrius. They obviously care deeply about the game, and we look forward to more conversations with them in the coming weeks. We've been in contact? We look forward to more conversations? Contact regarding what? Conversations about what? You know what I'm saying? Details, man. Maybe it's too early for them to give details on a statement like that. But it is interesting. It is very interesting that they're still in contact with the Nostalrius folk. Does that mean that the dream for legacy servers is still alive? It could be. It could be, you know? It could be. Fuck it. I want to keep on hoping. I just want to keep on hoping, man. One day could happen. Why else would they be in contact with the Nostalrius guys? Unless they want to get them involved with Pristine Realms. But I doubt that. Like, it sounds like they've been talking about Pristine Realms. Yeah, over the years we've talked about a Pristine Realm. Over the years, why would they bring the Nostalrius team into the Pristine Realm discussion? They must be talking with them about legacy servers, right? Unless they're just talking with them about how they're going to sue the shit out of them. I don't know. It's a possibility. But round up the message with saying, you, the Blizzard community, are the most dedicated, passionate players out there. We thank you for your constructive thoughts and suggestions. We are listening. Alright, well, they had to say that, didn't they, really? It's a very padded, kind of, very clearly scripted response, you know, but we knew that we were always going to get that. Blizzard can't exactly afford to leave behind, like, an impulsive or an overly emotive response to something like this. It was always going to be a little bit scripted. I don't know, what do you guys think of Pristine Realms? Would you play them over the current servers? Like heirlooms removed, all that kind of stuff, no more cross-realm zone, no more group finder. Would you choose to play that over the regular servers? I definitely would. But like I say, legacy all the way. What do you guys think? Let me know down below, but for now, I'm going to wrap this video. I think I've covered just about everything here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have an awesome day now. I'm going to catch all you guys just a tad bit later.
I've got you in my sights.